TeCH Alliance, I'm Arms Bumanlag. How does one fuse art and technology? Microchips in a paintbrush? Smartphones in a canvas? Art Windsor-Essex is featuring Flowing Forces, an interactive immersive experience that takes place inside Art Windsor-Essex. The multimedia installation marks the second phase in an ongoing collaboration between the gallery and Moment Factory. I sat down with Jennifer Matotek about the broad strokes of this successful tech collaboration in downtown Windsor.
Yeah, when we undertook our strategic plan for 2021 to 2025 and renewed our mission, which is to basically inspire growth through the power of art, a lot of the conversation of becoming an art gallery for the 21st century was around how do we use digital.
Now, why do you think digital is so important for engaging people? And what are you doing is to sort of explore some collaborations and to kind of get this off the ground?
Yeah, well, I think, in being community driven and, like you said, we were in the past and now we're just sort of moving into the future and evolving that. It's all about being where the people are, right? Whether it's physically and then recognizing too, what does that sort of look like in digital space? So with the pandemic, obviously we're doing a lot of programs online. We also last year launched a project that was sort of using our collection, reproductions of our collection out in the community with QR codes that you could scan. And then it would open to a map with a mini game. So we're really pushing forward this idea of interactivity and also exploring, what are different ways that we could be using our art collection and sharing it with the community as an asset using digital as a tool.
What's interesting about that too, Jennifer, is when you talk about, everybody's on their phones nowadays. Technology is sort of ingrained on what we do. But what a great way, I would think, to engage a whole new subset of, people who are familiar with what Art Windsor-Essex is, but maybe a new generation to say, yeah, you can still experience some great art and everything that we have to offer at AWE, but you can do it on your phone. So it's interesting how that sort of synergy between technology and getting to know what an organization like AWE is about, that sort of melds together in this kind of neat, interactive, I guess, concept.
Yeah. It's one of those things, we recognize that people are on their phones a lot, and rather than sort of fighting that, it's like, what does it look like to sort of go with that, to recognize that people's personal devices, can be a tool for growth and learning. So by sort of leaning into that, we've created 2 digital projects. So like I said, I mentioned last year, we launched something that's out in the community. And then recently, in early 2023, we just launched the project that is behind me right now. There's an image of it there. It's our second collaboration with the immersive, interactive multimedia studio Moment Factory based in Montreal. So they've been really working closely with us to work on that idea of what it means to use digital tools with art and in ways that encourage interactivity and immersion.
So this is like and pretty cool stuff here too, to team up with Moment Factory, based out of Montreal too, but to have this sort of multimedia installation using all sorts of tech to make this happen.
Yeah. I mean, the piece that's at the gallery now runs to June 2023, and they really worked in an interesting way. They took works from the collection, selected artworks that we chose together that were sort of fan favorites. And then they actually took the artworks and put them through AI to create a sort of digital background, which you can kind of see here in between the artworks. So it sort of moves very seamlessly between the styles of like one artist to another artist to another artist. And the interactivity is a really key part of the piece if you're going to go in to experience it.
So this like connects, again, that physical and digital aspect, but then connecting all the paintings and then contributing to the creation of a new work of art.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, I know often, we might think of digital creators not as visual artists. And one thing that's been amazing about working with Moment Factory is, their team is amazing. They're so creative, and it's such an amazing mix of talents that they have there, from people that are, visual artists, creative designers, people that work in computing and are able to do the coding and everything else that's, necessary to build a digital immersive multimedia project like this. And, they also have a sense of like I would call showmanship. So there's really, really high quality sound actually in the project. So not only did they really thoughtfully think through the visuals and think through the interactivity element, but they also thought about sort of the sound design and what that full immersive experience, should look and feel like.
So when visitors use their phone to scan the QR code for this, this really allows them to bring this installation to life, like you said. So everything from what I understand, visitors can make flower petals fall, and it's really immersive.
It really is. So with the AI background that you sort of see in the background here, if you're using your phone and you scan the QR code, you're able to sort of move your finger around your screen, and then you'll sort of see in real time this sort of like background that they've created. You'll be able to interact with it in really interesting ways, from really obvious, bigger things to really more subtle things. So it really is, I almost like Easter eggs, like there's little Easter eggs, what we would call it, right, in the digital sort of gaming space. So it's interesting that they put in these sort of more obvious ways that you can interact with it on your phone and see it in real time, but also there's just sort of subtle moments as well, which is really neat.
So where does the organization go with tech in the future? Obviously, this is going to be a huge hit, continues right through into the start of the summer. But where do you envision this going over the next several years as technology continues to increase?
Yeah, I mean, I think the interactive element of it is going to be increased as we continue our work with Moment Factory. We definitely see it as kind of a multi-year collaboration that started, and this is our second of what we see as being a number of projects that we're able to create with them. So we sort of talked about, in the future, what would further expanding this kind of look like. So we're already in conversations around, how do we boost the interactivity element of it? How do we make it even more immersive? How do we even use AI? Because that's something that's going to develop. It's really changing year over year. What is really possible. So I think in our next iteration of our work together, you'll definitely see that as something that gets even more enhanced than what it is right now.
Tech Talk continues. From business acceleration, building and engaging the tech community, and championing tech and innovation. Follow WeTech Alliance on social media or visit them on the web.